Steve Koski, host of Papa Steve's Rebel 1100 Garage, where we show do-it-yourselfers how to maintain your motorcycle. Let's get greasy. Soon after buying my Rebel 1100, I realized it needed a better saddle. The butt fatigue materialized about an hour into my first ride. When I returned home, I started the search for a replacement seat. I purchased one of the first Rebel 1100s available in the San Francisco Bay Area, and perhaps one of the first in the country. Consequently, aftermarket saddles were not easy to find. Then, Corbin and Mustang began to offer replacement saddles. The saddles from both companies changed the Spartan industrial look of the motorcycle, so at first I wasn't a fan. Eventually, I warmed up to Corbin. Corbin offered 3 styles of saddles: the Classic Solo, the Gunfighter, and the Dual Tour. After weighing the advantages of each, I picked the Gunfighter. I never considered the Dual Tour saddle. I don't carry passengers. My wife saved me the expense of buying another helmet because she refuses to ride on the back of my motorcycle. A previous boyfriend with a Porsche 911, a motorcycle, and the need for speed traumatized the motorcycle passenger right out of her. We've been married for 23 years now, but she still hasn't forgiven me for his testosterone-induced craziness. The Classic Solo was tempting because it was closer to the appearance of the stock saddle. However, even though the Gunfighter radicalized the style of the bike, I liked the Gunfighter's extra back support. The few online reviews I saw about the saddle were positive. When you order a Corbin Gunfighter, you can choose the way it looks. I wanted to keep the look of my seat understated. My Rebel 1100 has Bordeaux metallic paint, so I wanted to configure the saddle to complement the bike's paint and its blacked out accents. So here are my choices. The seat, sides, and tail are classic black leather to match the blacked out parts of the motorcycle. The welt is red leather and the stitching is burgundy to complement the motorcycle's paint. The reds are not a perfect match with Bordeaux metallic, but the small splashes of color work okay. I generally don't like company logos on my stuff, so I chose to make the Corbin logo an almost invisible black. Replacing the stock saddle with the Corbin Gunfighter is so easy you can do it barefoot. The only tools you need are a 6mm Allen wrench and your Rebel 1100 ignition key. Start by removing the 6mm hex bolt threaded into the top back of your rear fender. Set the bolt to one side where you won't lose it. I put it in my pocket. Next, remove the stock saddle. Put the key in the ignition. The lock is spring-loaded in 2 directions. Press in the key and lock, then turn the key clockwise to release the saddle lock mechanism. You'll hear the lock click. Now you can remove the saddle. Lift up the front of the saddle, then slide the saddle toward the fuel tank to release the rear brackets under the seat and lift the seat off. You're ready to install the Gunfighter. Position the saddle on the motorcycle. Check to see if the mounting bracket attached to the rear of the saddle is roughly positioned over the bolt hole in the fender. Make sure the front of the seat is over the locking mechanism. When mounting bracket and locking mechanism are in position, press down on the front of the seat to engage the lock. The saddle will click into place. Retrieve the 6mm Allen bolt you set aside. I took it out of my pocket. Align the mounting bracket at the rear of the saddle with a bolt hole in the fender, then thread the Allen bolt into it. The final step is to snug the bolt down. The Gunfighter saddle is secure front and back. To the best of my knowledge, you don't need to torque down the bolt. The craftsmanship that went into making my Corbin saddle is inspiring. I like the crosshatch pattern of the stitching, the subtle tuck and roll, and the highlight of color added by the red welt. The Gunfighter changes the look of the Rebel 1100, but the saddle looks like it has always been a part of my bike. Of course, you're never going to spend a lot of time looking at a Corbin seat. The most important measure of a saddle is, does it improve the comfort of your ride? My unreserved answer is yes. The second most important measure of a saddle is its durability. I won't know about that for a few years yet. I'm surprised at how firm the seat is. Initially, the firmness made me skeptical the Corbin saddle was going to solve my butt fatigue problem. Remarkably, it does. My theory is that the Gunfighter, being wider than the stock saddle, provides more seat area to spread the load. Also, I think the upswept back support improves comfort. My bottom line, I can never resist a pun, is that the Corbin Gunfighter extends my riding comfort well past the hour or so I suffered with the stock seat. The Corbin Gunfighter is not perfect, though. Here are the shortcomings as I see them. The saddle is expensive. At the time of this video release, Corbin was selling the Gunfighter for $618. The Gunfighter makes mounting and dismounting the motorcycle more challenging than the stock seat for a 70-something codger like me. I need to lift my leg higher to clear the upswept tail of the saddle. I still have my original hips and knees, but my joints are stiffer and my thigh muscles, well, they've been around for decades. Despite the obstacles of my aging body, I can still swing a leg over. The first few times you sit on the Gunfighter, you'll notice that when you flat foot during a stop, the front of the seat presses against the insides of your thighs in ways the stock saddle doesn't. These pressure points are noticeable for the first week or two. Now I don't feel them. If you welcome the easy access to the small storage space under the stock seat, that convenience is gone with the Corbin Gunfighter. The saddle still locks and unlocks with the ignition key. However, the tail of the saddle needs to be secured to the rear fender with Honda's existing Allen bolt. Goodbye easy access to underseat storage. Access is no longer an easy push and twist of the ignition key to lift off the seat. The hold was an expedient place to carry registration, insurance information, and Easy Pass. Now I pocket them in my riding jacket. And I carry a 6mm Allen wrench with me on the bike, just in case I need access to the hold. I thought I could solve the storage access problem by carrying the Allen wrench. I even created a holster for it. I zip-tied a 4-inch long rubber tube to one of the metal mounting stays on the inside of my Honda Batwing fairing. The tubing's internal diameter is just spacious enough to slide in the Allen wrench while providing enough friction to hold the wrench in place. Eventually, I plan to dip the T-handle of the wrench in the black rubber tool coat to make the holstered Allen wrench look less dorky. Even with the holster fix, I find that I don't use the underseat hold anymore to carry items to which I need routine access. If you make a practice of hanging your helmet from the helmet hooks under the Honda saddle, then locking it down, you will miss that helmet lock feature with the Gunfighter. Personally, I never found the hooks under the seat very convenient, so I never used them. One YouTube Gunfighter review that I watched before buying my own Corbin saddle panned the seat because the reviewer complained the seat marred his bike's finish. The Corbin seat sits on the bike frame, supported by 8 rubber feet and a chrome metal mount, where the saddle bolts to the fender. Contrary to the other reviewer's complaint, I haven't found any scuffing or other damage caused by the Gunfighter. Despite these few inconveniences, I like the Corbin Gunfighter. Now I really appreciate the radical custom look of the Rebel 1100 with the Gunfighter mounted. My rides are much longer and more delightful. Weighing the positives against the negatives, despite the high price of the Corbin Gunfighter, I would buy the saddle again. Mount up. Let's go cruising. I hope you found this video helpful. I'd be delighted if you would subscribe to Papa Steve's Rebel 1100 Garage. If you don't, I'll be just another codger talking to himself on the internet.